Hello, everybody. Welcome to our How To Corner. But in today's episode, we have a special episode. This is our sports episode. We end up talking about a lot of different topics on this channel, not just health related things and mental health things. We also discuss some current events. So, the title of today's episode is Death of the Blue Bloods. Before we get started, please like, share, subscribe, follow us. We actually started this particular talk on our podcast. We have a podcast on Spotify called Will's World, Your Will Over All, and it's powered by 3Gen Physical Therapy and Sports Science. So if you wanted to learn or hear about the first conversations we had about it, this is part 3 of that series. So with that being said, let's get going. Now, top for the day, we're going to discuss what and who are the Blue Bloods, the impact of the Blue Bloods in the NCAA, Indiana, how they open the door for the new Blue Bloods, the NIL impact on Blue Bloods, as well as will there be a new Blue Blood takeover? Now, what are the Blue Bloods? Oh man, obviously, a Blue Blood is a college football program with a long-term dominance, historic championships, national relevance, as well as cultural influence on the sport. The most recent Blue Blood that has had the power to be able to claim this title was Alabama when Saban or Saber was the head coach. Now, before that, there's a lot of Blue Bloods in name, but there are not a lot of championships to go around. We did a podcast where we talked about that in detail there, so I'm not going to go back through that. But with that being said, let's list a few of them, right? Alabama Crimson Tide, like I talked about. Nebraska Cornhuskers back in the day. Texas Longhorn, USC Trojans, Ohio State Buckeyes, Michigan Wolverines, Oklahoma Sooners, Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and the list goes on. These Blue Bloods have been, how can I say this, given a little bit of a jolt over the past about 5 years. There's been a lot of movement, a lot of changing of the guard, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. Now let's talk about the impact of Blue Bloods in NCAA. The Blue Bloods themselves, their impact, when it comes to the conferences that you're in, the two big-time conferences in college football right now are the Big Ten and the SEC. The Blue Bloods add to the conference strength. Basically, a rising tide lifts all boats. So for every time a Blue Blood from the SEC goes to a championship because they have the actual resources to do so and they win and have the talent, that money is spread evenly throughout the conference, so the conference strength improves, right? Now, the revenue dominance, again, when they win, everybody else wins within the conference, as well as your recruitment. Most people want to play in the best league in the country. Most athletes want to be tested and pushed. This allows for that. So you create this culture of dominance, culture of strength, power, prove that you're great, right? And then the national championships are dominated by most of the Blue Bloods for the most part. I think when Dabo showed up at Clemson, him doing what he did at Clemson was kind of that door getting moved a little bit. And then, last but not least, the media and culture influence. Now, let's talk about the media influence a little bit more here. There's a media influence that has convinced everybody that if you have the, how can I say this, the money, you can win championships. Because the Blue Bloods, supposed to have all the best resources, all the nice things. What the media left out is that the Blue Bloods were able to cheat the system. And when I say cheat the system, they were able to stack talent, not because they were paying everybody. It's because they held the keys to the NFL. So when Saban was actually at Alabama, he did what we call blue shirting, gray shirting, and basically every year I'm turning my roster over because I have so many players I'm gonna bring in, and then by the spring goes, we can process them out. They can't cut it, but I'm going to get all the talent. So a lot of guys who could have played earlier other places end up staying on the roster for 3 years or their junior year to only play one season. They better go to the NFL because that's what Saban could do. Is it wrong? No. Is it cheating? Yes. Because there was supposed to be a hard cap on scholarships, which the NCAA ended up implementing because of Saban. And because of the fact that these rosters are getting big. He wasn't the only one. People eventually caught on, started doing what he was doing. But that is how you're able to stack talent. If you stack talent, I'm sorry, guys, you don't have to coach that well. You just don't. Now, if you're a horrible evaluator of talent, you can stack a whole bunch of talent and stars and you get your teeth kicked in. Texas for a long time until Sark showed up. Now, let's move to this part of the talk, which is what I'm excited about. Indiana opened the door for the new Blue Bloods. The question is, has Indiana rebuild changed the landscape of college football? Is it time for the new bloods to dominate college football? And then the 2025 12-team playoff bracket tells a deeper story. Now, let's dive into the first question. Has Indiana rebuild changed the landscape of college football? Yes. Has the landscape of college football been changing before now? Yes. Actually, the landscape of college football was changing years and years ago. We just never, ever, ever really took hold to it because we call them Cinderellas. So when we call them Cinderellas, it weakened the actual stance of being a blue bloods. It just means that, hey, you had the year this year, right? Indiana has done this 2 years in a row. Oregon back in the day, about 10, 15 years ago, when Chip Kelly was there, was that team also that broke through. They didn't win a championship, though. That's more Chip's fault than anything else. But they were put on the map as an actual national recognized name with historic dominance in their conference and so on. This is why I say, yes, Indiana has opened the doors because they won the championship. Now, what does that mean? Is it time for the new Blue Bloods to dominate college football? I think so. I think with the actual world of college football, how it's set up now, you tend to balance the talent out a lot. So you're going to have a lot more competitive teams, which means that a lot less Blue Bloods are going to be at the top in the 12-team playoff. So that whole thing, the 12-team playoff bracket tells a deeper story, it does. Now, the first part of the story is this. Let me take a sip of my juice. Is Tulane and James Madison making the actual playoff? Will forever change how the playoff is set up now. Two teams in the G6 now will not get in going forward. They won't allow it to happen. Sorry, guys, just won't. Because the money that could be made, they're going to make it going forward. They gave the chance for the two smaller schools to show and prove, and they were not able to. And the margin losses of the past couple of years of this have not been good. Now, somebody would say, hey, the bigger teams got their teeth kicked in too. That is true. How can I say this? The Cinderella attached to the JMU and Tulane names this year just makes you, how can I say, tolerable. So when you didn't make it, you actually put a situation up for argument. Are you even worthy to be in this playoff? Me, I think you are worthy to be in the playoff. I just don't think it's two teams at one time. I just don't. Now, that 12-team playoff also tells the other story. They really wanted Notre Dame in. Do I think Notre Dame deserved to be in? Nope. Do I think Texas deserved to be in? Nope. Why? Because you have 12 games in the season to prove it. And you don't have to be perfect. You just could not prove it. Texas lost too many games. Sorry. Notre Dame, your schedule is trash, just like it is this year in 2026 coming up. Trash. They should not let you in. These conferences have gone to 9 games. If you allow them to go to 9 games and they have 3 losses, Notre Dame has 2, you have to put the teams in who have the stronger strength of schedule. Because if that's the case, there's no reason to be at 9 games unless you're being promised something. That 12-team playoff tells a deeper story. And then the last part, why the lower 2 ranked teams were in the Final Four. Ooh, Miami, Ole Miss. How? Isn't it interesting? Not about resources, about evaluating talent, and the transfer portal has made it so easy to be able to do this. Now, Indiana won it all. Their number 1 seed. They actually earned it. They did with their thing all season. And dang it, Signetti did a great job. Applaud them. But that 12-team playoff going forward, it's going to look a lot different when it comes to the type of teams there. There's not going to be a lot of blue bloods. There's going to be probably a good split of blue bloods and new guys every year. So you have a year for every year for somebody to make it that never was supposed to be there. And now we have to prove it on the field. Now, how does NIL impact the blue bloods? Simple. Pros, they can get big recruits and commits. So can the actual smaller schools. There goes a good and a bad. Has tons of NIL money floating around, so does the smaller schools. Control of the market? Kind of, not really. always national championships favorites? Yes and no. You see how there's some give and take here. Now look at the cons we put up. We said can't stop. I don't know what that word was, but let's just say can't stop the talent. Players are transferring to where they can play. New bloods are even the playing field, and players do not need to play for blue bloods to go pro. You believe it or not, players never need to play with blue bloods to go pro. NFL doesn't work like that. But it's none of my business though. Once again, Saban was able to attack the teams because why? He figured out the loophole. That's all. Now let me talk about this from 1,000 feet foot view. Right, the NIL makes the actual bigger programs have to struggle to keep their talent and be better evaluating talent because they're going to lose guys if they don't play. There's too many places for guys to go to be able to start and get to the league. So this is going to make it where there's going to be a lot more balance. The NIL balances the playing field. You can't pay everybody on your team a $60 million deal and think that they care about just the money. They're going to grab their bag and be gone the next year. Now, will there be a new Blue Blood takeover? I think so. Yes, I do. Done with the Blue Blood with the new done with the old blue bloods and in with the new. Yes. What will the blue bloods identity be? Will the NIL help or harm the blue bloods permanently? Who will be the new blue bloods? So we're definitely done with the old. We're in with the new. The old are going to be there a little bit, but they're not going to be as permanent. Thank God, because it got boring. Clemson and Alabama every damn year had got boring. What will the blue bloods identity be? Great question. What will the identity be? I think it's going to be what it's always been. I don't think they can revamp themselves. They're just going to be what they are. But you're going to see a lot of balance, and those guys getting beat a lot more often. And will the NIL help or harm the Blue Bloods permanently? Yes, it will. It's going to help. It's going to harm them permanently. They're not going to recover from this. And they created this system, especially when they end up going to the Super League that's being talked about. The Super League is going to happen. They're going to be going to the Super League. It's really going to balance it out. That is going to be the straw that breaks the camel back. Now, who will be the new Blue Bloods? That is the cool thing. We don't know. It's going to happen, though. You're going to have a lot more teams that are not of note getting to the championship. And that's the whole reason for the 12-team playoffs and why it doesn't need to go past 12 teams right now. Let it stay. So, the question for you all, what do you think? You think the Blue Bloods are gone? Do you think they're here to stay forever? You think they're going to take it back over? Or do you think there'll be some balance out here? I vote for balance. I think balance is going to make everything better. I enjoy watching college football this year. I'm a college football fan. I just love it. And if we keep this going, it's only going to get better. For everybody who made it this point in the talk, thank you for making it this far. Please like, share, subscribe to all our content. We're on all platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you have any questions or concerns about injuries of any kind, please hit us up. We are actually specialized in physical therapy and sports science. So we fix things that people think cannot be fixed, and we guide you on your way back to recovery. And with that being said, hope you have a blessed one. We'll talk to you soon.